6.5 weeks later, and we're shaking off the cobwebs, we're shaking off the rust. McGarvin and I are here, and whew, we got a lot to talk about. The Pats have done some moves, but then there's been some other NFL craziness as well. And I feel like everyone's like, "Oh, why are you coming back now?" It's like I feel like now's the perfect time because like there's not a lot going on, but it's that like nice calm, if you will, before the draft stuff. The draft stuff's here, but like I feel like where it really kicks into high gear.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And also, too, good on the one thing I love about the draft this year is the Pittsburgh school board being like, "Oh, hey, no school. You don't have to come to class for like 3 days." And it's like, imagine being told that. It's like, "Hey, mom, we have online school. Why? Oh, because Fernando Mendoza is getting drafted #1 overall in that city."
Yeah, I mean that's pretty cool. I think it'll be fun, especially for those kids who like. I think the draft moving cities is actually like an incredible idea. I think it's a lot of fun if if your city gets picked because you have a huge like it essentially ends up being a huge party. I remember when it was in Nashville a few years ago. I mean, folks down there were absolutely, just absolutely, thrilled with it. I had some family down there and they were just like, they felt like it was like, they were like, oh, one of them was like, oh, it was like Mardi Gras. I'm like, I'm sure it wasn't that, but I can only imagine how exciting that must have been. So those kids are going to have a great time with that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But before we shift to other stuff with the rest of the thing, going back with New England now, look, I feel like free agency as a whole, because like we could go player by player, but for the most part, I feel like a lot of the stuff was addressed. But at the same time, too, it's kind of like, hey, you fixed the main parts, but there's still the one glaring error in the middle of the defense, considering, hey, look, you bring in Draymond Jones, you bring in Kevin Byard on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, AVT, your boy, and Romeo Doubs coming in, Reggie Gilliam. But then linebacker, it's kind of weird because now it's like, okay, Jack Gibbons is in Arizona. Tavai got cut. Penny got cut, which I'd say out of all of them, Penny was the one who surprised me the most. So now I'm trying to think, are they going linebacker? Like, is there some sort of other trade in the work? Because obviously there's the not dangling carrot of a trade, but like the most obvious bubble waiting to burst. But we're not going to find out about that for like another 2 months because of money. So I still feel like this team's far from perfect, but I feel like going into 2026 right now, they're in that FAFO territory in the NFL where it's kind of like, hey, play around. I'll say the term. They're going to fuck around and find out, and hopefully, it's better than not. It's better than bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I liked what they did in free agency. I think it was for me anyway. I kind of went in thinking like, hey, this is kind of the year that you just get better, right? Like everyone, you go into it and everyone's going to feel like, oh, we should make a splash. And I'm just like, or you can just like get better at like the basic level. Like kind of raise the floor of your team. And I think they went out there and did that. Like you get yourself a nice upgrade over Jared Wilson at left guard. You bring in an AVT. That's a high ceiling player. Former first round pick, number 20. It's just the injuries, but you get like a substantial upgrade there. But everything else, you're like, all right, like they bring in Romeo Doubs, and it's like, is he a superstar player? No, but he raises the floor, right? Like at the very worst, if your worst receiver is Romeo Doubs, and I don't think he will be, I think he'll probably be like second or third best. But if your worst receiver is Romeo Doubs, you feel a lot better than your worst receiver being, Efton Chisholm, right? Like you just kind of raise the floor, like, all right, at worst case scenario, we have Romeo Doubs, and it's like, you can do worse than that. And that's kind of how I felt with a lot of their moves. Kevin Byard, I think that was just a straight up upgrade. I know a lot of people really wanted Jalen Hawkins back, and I
like the one I was always like okay with moving on with. I didn't expect him to stay.
He wasn't that good. Like he was fine, and he found the football a lot, but he wasn't a guy that like you had to spend money on, right? And he's a 29-year-old player, safety who's just kind of fine. He's just an average safety, and I think either way, if they re-signed him or not, they would still have to draft a safety because I think that's just a position they need to address. So either way, whether it was Jalen Hawkins or someone else, you were always going to draft another safety, and I think Kevin Byard just represents just a straight up upgrade. It's like, all right, cool, 1 year deal, $9 million. He's 33, but like he is going to give you better play than Jalen Hawkins gave you. And then you're still gonna have to draft the safety, which would have been the case either way. So I like that move a lot. Some of the lower end moves I didn't really understand. Julian Hill, he got a 3-year, $18 million deal. I was completely unfamiliar with him when he was signed. I was like, I have no idea who that man is. And I've gone back and I've kind of watched what he did in Miami this past year because that was his most active. I still don't really get it. I don't really get it. People are like, oh, he's going to come in and be a good blocker. And I'm like, yeah, okay. But like,
he's going to be a special teamer.
He's fine. He's like, if you get him blocking on the move, he can like really make, he can really show you something. But like at the point of attack, he's not a guy, like he's not Dwayne Allen out there. So we'd be like, oh, he's going to be blocking tight end. I'm like, let's kind of pump the brakes on that just a little bit. But he's fine. Jack Gibbons going to Arizona. Cool. I wasn't a Gibbon head when he signed. I wasn't a Gibbon head throughout the year. He was fine.
Cool, but thank you for your service, kind of thing.
Yeah. And either way, even if they did bring him back, he's another player where it's like, oh, we could have brought him back and still draft the linebacker. Like, no matter what, you're going to draft another linebacker because that room, I think, needs to turn over. Even though it's a newish room, right? You have Christian Ellis, who's been here a few years. Robert Spillane's only in the second year of his new deal with the Patriots. You have Marte Mapu, but who's like the guy waiting in the wings, right? Like, who is the guy you're like, oh yes, when he gets through his development phase, this is a guy we can rely on to be a great player. And they don't have one of those, and I think they should and will go out and get one of those because Robert Spillane is 31, right? I think he's 31.
Yeah.
And
they're younger than us, but they're old in NFL years.
Yes, right. Exactly. But we saw what happened when he went down.
Yeah.
And I think he only missed like 3 or 4 games, but he went down and the run defense absolutely
he got hurt in the Giants game and missed the rest of the year, if I'm not mistaken.
He came back. When did he come back? Yes.
Or he played in the playoffs, but he missed the rest. I think he got hurt in the Giant game. And then
I was wondering if he came back against Miami or if he came back the week after. But you were right. He missed the rest of the year. And we saw the run defense absolutely plummeted. Now, I understand Milton Williams was also out, but it just wasn't the same without Spillane because no one else can really do what he does. And even though I think he was good, I don't think he was great. They just don't have anyone else that can be better than that. Like Christian Ellis, I think he's a fun player. I just don't know how good he is, but he's like a fun player. You're like, Christian Ellis is fun to watch. Like, he's a cool guy, but they need a guy that can be like, hey, this is going to be the guy who's going to captain our defense for the next 4 or 5 years. And they don't have one of those, and they were going to have to draft one. So I think whether or not they brought back Jack Gibbons, they were going to have to draft that guy. So may as well move on from him. And they brought in KJ Britt, who doesn't play a ton of defense. He did 2 years ago for Tampa. That was rough. That was just rough. It was just rough to watch. And then last year, I believe he was with the Dolphins. So I think that's another fine move where I'm like, okay, cool. You just kind of upgraded that spot. I think obviously the next shoe to drop is what do they do at receiver? Because I think while everyone's thinking like, oh, they need to draft a receiver, I honestly feel like you're probably fine with the receivers you have if you make a trade, right? Because you have Kyle Williams only in his second year, right? So you're going to hope he takes a step, but you don't want to have to rely on like, hey, the offense isn't going to work if Kyle Williams doesn't take that step. I think that's a lot of
Kyle Williams to be 1,000-yard receiver. No, you're not banking on that.
Right. Exactly right. Kayshon Boutte, I think we've kind of seen has his high end. Like, I think we see like when he's on, like, he can ball out, but how much better is he going to get? Now, the thing with Kayshon Boutte is, he's 23, right? Like, he's still got some tread on the tire. So that's a guy that you're like, all right, like
going into a contract year.
Into that guy, and he's going into a contract year. Maybe he can develop into that guy, but that's a guy that you feel pretty good about. Kayshon Boutte on the roster. Pop Douglas, he's probably going to be traded. I would not love that, but I think with him, I want to see him in an offense with a different quarterback, more timing based and less because Drake may, while he can play that timing game, like he's more to play off script. He's more likely to want to play off script and hunt the big play. And that just doesn't really work with, 5'8" Pop Douglas. So I'm curious what happens there if the Patriots make a trade at wide receiver, but that's another guy who's like on the younger side, and you're like, oh, maybe he can develop into a role. I think more than anything, you get a guy up on, and obviously Romeo Dobbs, who I already addressed. You get a guy above that. You get an AJ Brown, and suddenly the room feels really good. You go from feeling like, it's fine, we can like roll with this, to being like, oh, that's a pretty good wide receiver room if everyone is slotted down a bit.
You forgot your boy, number 13.
Oh, well, I was talking about the younger guys, right? Like looking at the guys.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, I'm like, he's mentioned everyone.
And obviously, Matt Collins is Matt Collins. He's going to be there. But, like I think the room looks different. The situation looks better if you make the trade as opposed to you add a rookie. Because I think even if you add a rookie, knowing Josh McDaniels' history with young wide receivers and how much they're, embedded into the offense early, it just feels like, how about you go get a guy and then then you can, if you do decide to draft a guy, that's great. You're not feeling like you have to get that guy on the field immediately. I just think, if they make a trade at wide receiver, the room looks better. And, the Romeo Dobbs, then at that point, it feels like Romeo Dobbs. Adding just Romeo Dobbs in free agency feels a lot better than that.
Yes, and I am paying attention to you. My phone's at like 1%, so I'm just trying to get it. Then I have to reach the outlet to get it plugged in, but we're good now. No. Like the Romeo Dobbs move is like a one where I know everyone right now. And I also hate the Bills fans being like, oh, and look, see, they gave him this much money, and like we only have to do this for DJ Moore. Well, it's like not every move's the same. Obviously, we do it to be petty. But this receiver room right now, and even look, Diggs getting cut was one thing. I just think that was more or less like a hey, you know what, you're good. But the fact that he's remained unsigned as well, kind of not glaring, but it's kind of like maybe there's something there that people don't realize. But yeah, looking at the room right now, like I don't think you're not going to add, even though there's a couple good ones this year. There's Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State. There's what's the other kid's name? I think Malachi Lemon, USC. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like
Lemon.
Yeah, but I feel like with drafting a receiver, I just feel like every year in the draft, there's always going to be studs. That's like the one position. It's different than running back, because running back's more just everyone concerned with the shelf life and just the overall health and well-being. Meanwhile, with the receiver room, now tying it all back in, hey, next year might be the year to go use a first-round pick on a wide receiver because, you know what, hey, maybe some of the guys you're not too sure on. Plus, next year your quarterback's going to be making elite quarterback money. I know everyone's already going to say, oh, we still got one more year. I want to pivot because I look at that 2024 draft class and I already can see 2, maybe 3 guys getting a bag. I only say 2 because I'm going to be crazy with this. I still fully want to see Bo have another good year before I can believe he's truly like a $60 million guy. But I think Caleb is that. I think Drake is that. Jaden, I think, can be. It's just in that, Coleridge territory right now where it's like we need to see one more year from him to truly define it, just to see if was last year an anomaly or was he healthy. But it all ties back into New England now, because next year is the year that you really got to start. This year they have to have a great draft. But they got to start drafting well over the next couple seasons, where, hey, not that money's going to be tight, but it's going to start to be, hey, your quarterback's making 60 plus. Christian Gonzalez is probably going to be everyone's saying, oh, the Surtain contract, oh, who's the other guy? Surtain and Derek Stingley. We just saw JSN get paid pretty well 2 days ago on Monday morning. That contract kind of came out of nowhere. That Devin Witherspoon contract, I think, is going to be a real setting point to what Christian Gonzalez is probably going to be asking for. And you also, too, like you said, you have Marte Mapu that needs money. But just to tie it all back in, you brought up the point of Demario Douglas, and I wouldn't be, not that I'm saying I'm open to trading him, because he's a good guy in the room, but I think he's a guy that if he were to get traded, it would be more of like hey, this is a football decision. We don't think you're a bad guy. You're going to go I could see him going to a weaker team, but getting more opportunities to play, and just that, hey, you could be utilized better. Because if they were to run, say if it's September 13th, 2026, and I say that because I do not do, and especially now too, we're going to talk about this. I don't want them having that Wednesday night being their opening. I don't want them going to Seattle week 1. I just don't. But if week 1, they're AJ Brown, Kayshon Boutte, Matt Collins, Romeo Dobbs, and Kyle Williams, I think they're fine. I'll also say this too. I still wouldn't be shocked to see them draft someone day 3, like like a round 6, round 5 pick on a receiver. But
yeah, I could see it also being a third round
UDFA.
pick. Like that's not really that surprising. Regardless, I
That's what
think
Kyle Williams was.
Yeah, I honestly think they're just kind of interested in getting better players, just like get better on the field, get better talent, and then figure it out on the field.
And now too, with other free agents and stuff coming in, hey, there's now the New Balance Athletic Center open as well. So it's just one of those things where this is a team that's proactive. And I know everyone last year was saying, oh, the Patriots don't deserve this. They don't deserve to win. And then they laughed in our face when we lost. But the fact that ownership keeps holding the team accountable and wanting to win, even after a 20-year run of dominance, just shows that, hey, it's a good team that people can cheer for. And it's already like hearing people just saying in conversations, hey, it's a 2-team race in the AFC East. Feels kind of good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, which I already have a take about our division, but I really think Miami's true. Like, I don't think people are ready for how bad they're going to be in 2026. I think the Jets, they're not going to make the playoffs, but I don't think the Jets are going to be as horrendous as last year. But I think the Dolphins, it's going to be like us 2 years ago, where it's just smile through the pain and get another top draft pick in 2027.
Yeah, I think the Jalen Waddle trade just kind of signaled like it's time to kind of tear it down and start fresh. And I think that's great for them. It sucks for Malik Willis because he's gonna get out there and he's gonna have to really focus on throwing the ball to some guys that are back of the roster NFL players. Now, obviously, they have they have 2 picks, right? They have 2 firsts, right?
Yeah, they have theirs, and then they have
Denver's. I'd be surprised if one, that first one isn't a wide receiver. Like I can absolutely see that happening. I know there's thoughts about like, oh, maybe they'll draft a quarterback, but I don't know. It feels a little soon.
Ty Simpson's the best quarterback in this draft.
Oh, please, for the love of the Lord. And I'm a Bama fan, so like, yeah, let's be so serious. That guy always has to have a take, so it's good for him.
And then the one I sent you today was hilarious, where it's like he has a take so bad, and then people call him out and say mean things to him, and he starts posting like an ant on Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah. When he was the kindness is free. And I'm like, he did the same thing during the MVP discussion when people were on his ass and he just started like, this site will break him. I'm like, what are we talking about, dude? Like, shut up. Like, get off the internet. Like if it's that bad, just like log off for the day. Your job is to give takes. People are gonna react to your takes.
Yeah,
we don't want to like it's a controversial take. Like, come on, spare me.
But I don't want to do this too soon. But like with the whole AFC already, I would only say there's only about 3 teams. Like, 3 teams right now where I'm like, hey, you know what, 2026 isn't your year. I think I'm not going to say if it's fair, but I just look at them with 2 of them where it's just like the one we talked about, Miami. The Jets, like, I just think, hey, I think they can show something, but I'm just like, are we expecting Geno Smith to lead you to the promised land? I don't think this is Seattle in 2022. And I know people are excited about the Raiders and everything they've done, but I liked watching Fernando in the playoff, but I'm just like, I think that's he's gonna get the welcome to the NFL moments where it's kind of like, oh, this is what it's like when you don't have like an awesome receiving core and your offensive line's not this all American farm boy offensive line. When you've got Tyler. Well, actually, I was supposed to say the line's not terrible with Linderbaum, and I also kind of like Jackson Howard Jones, but Colton Miller just for a first round pick. My goodness. And then
I like what the Raiders did with regards to like their line, just going out and getting Linderbaum. I know that people are going to clown them for overpaying, but I think we have to.
Oh, can I say why they had to?
Yeah,
it's called "You're a Shit Team" tax.
Yeah, and we paid that same tax. Like we were paying money for Chick Score for a couple of years ago. Like it's what happens when you're a bad team, and that's just what it is. And to really buy your way out of it, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you a little something. So like, it is what it is. And not only that, I think generally speaking, this offseason was just really illuminating because I feel like people don't understand that the cap going up doesn't necessarily mean there's just like more money, because the contracts go up with it, right? So like the cap is like the highest it's ever been ever. And so an average receiver will cost you $20 million, right? And people are like, what do you mean? Like, I can't believe they paid so-and-so $20 million. And I'm like, that's literally market rate. Like, that's what wide receivers just go for. Like, if you're going to the store to purchase a wide receiver, you're going to look at the shelf. It's going to be about $20 million if you want a good one, or, about $14 million if you want, you want the store brand. Like, but wide receivers don't come cheap. And we saw that this year as well with edge rushers.
Yeah.
Right. You have Jalen Phillips got the absolute bag, and I mean, good for him. I like him a lot though. He got a huge
I applaud Carolina for beefing up their defensive line.
Absolutely. But people were like shocked at his money, and I'm like, I don't know. It seems like that's kind of what they go for, right? The Patriots, we added Draymond Jones at like
13 or 14?
$14 million, or just maybe just under $14 million. And then we saw Caleb Von Chason. He went to Washington and he got $12 million. And I remember I was talking to someone on online about it, and they were like, oh, that's just like too much money to spend on Caleb Von Chason. And looked into it, and I was like,
Trey Hendrickson got 30.
Yeah, but it's not even like what the high end guys get that kind of inform that, but it's like, what do the low end guys, like the Carl Grandersons of the world, like what do they make? And it's like,
yeah,
about $11-12 million. Like a pass rusher on his second contract, if he is legitimately if he is productive in any sense, or has been productive in any sense, he is going to cost you at a bare minimum $12 million, because under that, right? So it was like, you had some at 12 million, you had, I think, 2 at 11 million. And then under that were special teamers and guys on their rookie deals. So like just a market, like just, hey, we just want a pass rusher, like just a nice C plus B minus pass rusher. He's going to cost you about $13 million. So we saw a lot of people like, oh, they overpaid for this. They overpaid for this player. But I'm like, this is what these players cost. Like Kayshon Boutte's going to end up costing like $18 million. Like that's $18 million a year. Like,
yep.
Because that's what receivers just make.
Look, JSN wanted to get paid like the top receiver in the NFL, and he's getting $41 million. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a time where a wide receiver gets 50.
Absolutely.
Like we're just headed towards there. I just love I just got to remember with contracts to like always read in between the lines, because I really freaked out when I saw that Travis Kelce one was a 3-year deal, and I didn't realize that, hey, they just did that for cap purposes, and that's really a 1-year deal and that he can get out of it. But they're a team who, look, I like the Kenneth Walker signing, but I just don't like the people that were like, oh, this is like Kevin Durant going to the Warriors. I'm like, their defense got gutted like a fish.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the offense is going to be good. If Justin Fields is taking meaningful snaps for you, hey, I only say that because we don't know if Patrick's going to, just because of the timing. We don't know if he's going to be back. But if week 1, they're trying Justin Fields out, it's like, and then you got,
it feels less good. Yeah.
Yeah. Like they're a team where it's like, everyone's going to say, oh, they could be back in the Super Bowl. I really think they got to hit their draft out of the park if they're going to want to do that. Because think about it. Leo Chanel gone, Trent McDuffie gone. Chris Jones is getting older. George Karlaftis, yeah, he got paid last year. He's someone I've always been like kind of partisan to, just because like when I was doing draft research in 22, he was a name that always like popped, because you know how that was like Trayvon Walker, Aiden Hutchinson, Kayvon Thibodeau, and then like Karlaftis was always like in that next tier right below those guys when it came to prospect rankings. And then I also look at the offense too, where I'm like, okay, you still don't have a receiver. Travis Kelce is, you sure he's still there? But May is King literally posted just a compilation of him like dropping the ball and just getting blocked on routes, and I'm just like, guys, we got to remember he's going to be 37.
Yeah,
I know our great friend who is on the shelf, Sophie, loves his fiance, but it's just a matter of the fact. And someone also tweeted out saying Taylor really is not giving him a free ride, huh? That one made me laugh. It's like, nope, Travis, you have to use your football money. But they're a team where I feel like they'll be in the mix, but I just can't come out. Until we see it from them, I just can't confidently say, hey, they're going to be back to what they once were. For all we know, they could be. I don't know if I can come out and just confidently say that, like, as of March 25th at 9:03 p.m.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like even with their Division 2, the Chargers, assuming, which for all everyone saying, oh yeah, Josh Allen MVP votes cost Drake May. No. I was always more mad at the Sam Monson voting Justin Herbert for MVP to be different. That's the one that always kind of irks me more. But like, they're going to be a team where it's going to be interesting to see what they are. And then you have the Broncos, who, look, they had Jalen Phillips, Jalen Waddle, and everyone thinks that they're going to be good. They're going to be this. They won so many one-score games last year and had to pull so many rabbits out of their hats that I really think they could be one of those teams where they're fine, but they lose a lot of games last year that they won. You know, like that 14-3 becomes like an 11-6 or a 10-7.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do we know the extent of Bo Nix's ankle injury? Is that like a big deal, or was it just like a big deal because of the timing?
I think the timing.
Okay.
Which, I still want to see him play a full year again, because if he can be MVP caliber Bo Nix and not having these like crazy comebacks and being not carried by the defense, but you know, the defense bailing them out. Like, I'm sorry, you beat Vegas 10-7 in a game. That's not impressive. I know the Patriots lost to the Raiders, but you went 0-2 on the spread against the Raiders. I'm going to take that as grief. But I need to see that from him. But I also want to tie it back because of my Jalen Phillips thing, because I actually learned some trivia recently. Did you know that since the year 2020, the Dolphins have only one remaining player on their team that was a first-round pick?
Really?
From 2020 to 2024.
No, I did not know that.
His name is Austin Jackson.
Oh, the tackle.
Yeah, the tackle from USC.
Wow.
Who made my dad cry on draft night because we were watching it during COVID, and there was some story, because you know how it's like ESPN. I think we were watching the ESPN feed, and it was like, here's the draft coverage. Now here's either, like, you know, we always joke about it where it's like someone that was sick, someone was killed, you know, the adversity, poverty story. And this one was like something with his sister and something like that. And my dad was just like there, like, it's like, obviously COVID, you're with your family. And he was just like, because, you know, the brother sister thing really got to him just because of my sister and I. Not that we had the same thing, but just that whole dynamic.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said to Miami, like, I feel like they're going to try to turn the ship around, but like, I just think it's going to be ugly for them in 2026.
Agree.
Yeah. One other team I still view as interesting this year, just with all the signings they did and all the bald men they brought on, is the Tennessee Titans. I just don't know if they're trying to recreate
all the bald men.
They literally, like, their entire coaching. I'm pretty sure like 80% of their coaches are bald. I'm here to say I don't know if they're going to be a good team, because I still think that division is Houston or Jacksonville. Sure. I'm also coming around on you, where I'm like, you know, I like just to dunk on Coleridge for fun, because how everyone calls him Coleridge Bernard. But I really do think that those two teams are good. It's just with Houston, I'm like, do you pick up CJ's fifth year? Do you let him play it out?
No, you pick it up.
Yeah, you pick up.
I think,
and you give Will Anderson a bag.
Yeah. I think quarterback is not a position I think you can play with and be like, oh, well, he wasn't that good in the playoffs. And it's like, yeah, but he's taking you to the playoffs every year. That's a good player. You absolutely pick up the fifth-year option and put a line in front of him who can protect him. You'll be fine.
I'm also going to go back to the Patriots just for a second on that note, because I love how throughout all the games, you know, it's the Chargers game was like, oh, the offensive line, all this. Denver's the only one where I let the excuse go, because now I look back at that game and I'm like, hey, for us, it was fun. For me, it was a lot of fun being down in the Patriots bar in Lauderdale by the Sea, Florida, that I was at. But the Houston game, I hate how everyone's takes quickly went from they're going to get crushed. This defense is amazing. This is the 85 Bears to, oh, well, CJ Stroud just sucks, and that's why you won the game. Where I'm like, I mean, Drake May didn't play his best in that game, but Drake May had, and I still say this about the entire run, the games they won were because Drake made a play when he had to.
Yep.
The Hunter Henry touchdown against the Chargers, which I do like to remind people, that was almost a pick. That ball was just like a little. It was a great throw, but no, if Derwin James had like an arm just a little bit more stretched out.
Nah, he had no shot at that. That was one of those, you beat the ball, you beat the coverage with the ball. Mm-hmm. That had no shot. It's like the do you remember the Steph Diggs catch? I think it was on fourth down against the Ravens against Baltimore. He converted like the 4th and 3 or something like that.
I remember that, and I remember the was it second and goal at? I thought you were going to go with the Buccaneers one where he got his feet down right at the buzzer at halftime.
No, that was incredible. No,
That was more
the,
incredible footwork than an incredible catch.
yes, exactly. But the Ravens play is one where the coverage was fine.
Yes. Now I know
the
the one.
DB tried to jump, but it was like right. But like the ball is just exactly where it needs to. Like there's nowhere else to put this ball, and that's exactly where it was put. It was the same thing against the Chargers. I was like, that's a great throw, man. Like, you could say like, oh well, maybe James could have made a play on it, or I'm like, no. That was just that. When a throw is that good, where it's like, yeah, there's nothing anyone can do about it. It's just gonna get to where it's gonna go. It's like, cool. You tip your cap to that. I think, but those kind of plays are plays where I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like when you see a guy do that, like you gotta feel something in your soul. You know what I mean? You're like, wow, like that's my quarterback. And it sucks that the way people consume football online, they just don't allow themselves any room for any players doing any cool shit. Right? If someone does something cool, you immediately have to try to denigrate it or say, oh, my quarterback could do this too, or my least favorite is when someone posts a highlight and then someone like quote tweets with like a low light, and I'm like, okay, like, but like, cool that you have that low light like queued up, but like that's a sick throw. You have to get credit. Like you can't tell me you're a fan of the sport and you don't like when players on other teams do cool shit. Like let's be so real.
Yeah, it's kind of like I always remember the last year there was the snow Sunday night football game. It was Bills and Niners.
Oh, yeah, the lateral
with Amari Cooper.
Holy shit, cool as fuck. Yeah.
That also won me money because I had Josh Allen for an anytime touchdown, so I'm always glad about that one. but yeah, it's that same thing too, where you can appreciate like there's two football fans that I don't like. Not the ones who will just see something on Twitter, but the ones for me is the person who gets all their highlights from Red Zone and just thinks that like, oh, this guy gets all the touchdowns, he's awesome. Where it's like, okay, just Red Zone's cool, but can't rely on it for everything. And the ones who just think that because a guy's bad at fantasy football means they're a bad football player. Or no, it's just look, we all love fantasy football, but it's just one of those things where, hey, some guys have good weeks, some guys have bad weeks. But yeah, that's the thing. And then the Houston game was just like the Kayshon Boutte catch. Like, I don't think I need to say anything else. But then also too, Marcus Jones getting the pick 6 on that one. I just hated how everyone quickly flipped the dime to, where it's like, oh, the Texans are going to come in. Like I heard people saying that, oh, Woody Marks, he rushed for 100 yards against the Steelers. He's going to do it against the Patriots. Where I'm like, you're not see the Patriots. You see the Patriots rush defense. I'm pretty sure Woody Marks had like under 20 yards in that game.
Yeah, like, they had nowhere to go. The O-line was getting absolutely destroyed. Corey Durden just retweeted a tweet of mine, and because that happened, I just got to relive the play for a moment. I'm like, how cool was that? They were just resetting the line. Like Woody Marks got the ball, and the entire interior of the O-line was 3 yards in the backfield. Like, that's insane. They were fucking them up. So it sucks that the story is like, oh, well, it's because CJ Stroud is terrible. And I'm like, no, the defense made him bad. Like, oh, God.
I still wonder that's the only thing with Houston. I know everyone's going to say that for next year. And I know also everyone says, oh, the Nico Collins excuse. And like, oh, but Gonzalez got the play and why'd he recover so quick? Christian Gonzalez was talking to the media after the Charger game when he has concussion. I think he was more pulled for precautionary. When you get the cart pulled out and you're not made available to the media, I even think if you had flipped the games around, I still don't think Nico Collins, like say if the Steelers-Texans game was the Sunday night game and Patriots-Chargers was Monday Night Football, I still don't think Nico Collins plays in the divisional round, even if they had that extra day of rest.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. My big question with Houston will Tank Dell be playing next year? Like, he's an awesome receiver. It's just I don't even want to say I hate the whole made of glass thing. I just think for him, it's bad luck. I think that's all injuries are. It's just wrong place, wrong time.
I think that's all injuries. I think that's all injuries. Personally, I don't know. I just don't buy.
And that bad luck as in that he keeps getting hurt.
Yeah, it's like I just don't buy the idea that like, oh, this guy has like broken his arm, he's torn his ACL and he sprained his back. He's definitely going to get hurt this year. And I'm like, those are all unrelated injuries. Like, it's not like, well, the back, no one with a bad back ever starts having a good back. But you just see like sometimes injuries are just so freakish. And you're like, wow, that guy just got hurt and lost the year. Like Tyquan Thornton, they were like, oh, that guy's so injury prone. And I'm like, I just think he's been unlucky. like when he broke his collarbone that first
preseason game,
and you're just like, well, that's just unfortunate. Like that, I guess it happens. And then in camp, he fell and hit his shoulder the other side, and it was like, this guy, that's just unlucky. And then from there, he has not been injured. So it's like, is he injury prone or did he just get unlucky twice early? And everyone's just like, oh, yes, that is a guy who was just always hurt. If you remember Matthew Stafford for a long time, people were like, oh, that guy's injury prone. And I'm like, wow, really? And then, to this point, you're like, he just doesn't miss that many games. Like, he missed a good handful early on, but like Matthew Stafford is just active all the time now. And it's like, wow, I can't believe there was a time where people were like, this guy is injury prone.
Yeah. That's
Crazy.
People just do that. It's like Jimmy Garoppolo got it for a while.
Yeah.
With and also with Tyquan Thornton, though, I was happy to see him sign a new contract with Kansas City.
Oh my God, right? Same. I will always say, you guys can never, you all Patriots fans out there, you can't make me hate Tyquan Thornton. I'm sorry it didn't work out here, but I'm rooting for the guy every time.
I was trying to think of someone else, but yeah, that's just the thing with Houston. It's just going back to them. It's like if they could stay healthy and just, like they had some bad luck games last year, and then the only team in that division I look at right now where I'm like, what the hell are you? Is the Indianapolis Colts. Like, I just look at them and I'm like, what are you? Because if you don't make it this year, like, I'm sorry, that's going to be a full, I think, just like coach getting fired, GM getting fired, because Chris Ballard kind of deserves it. And I know
look, he didn't get fired for the Jeff Saturday situation. That guy's bulletproof.
He basically has been. They haven't won the division underneath him as general manager, and I'll never forget his stupid. Oh, the rivalry's back. Never? Yeah, look it up.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's crazy.
They have never won the division. They didn't win the division. I think the last time they won the division was it may have been the year when they went to the AFC Championship game. And I know we don't like to talk about the deflated balls, but LeGarrette Blount just ran the ball down your fucking throat for 60 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. That was also the game that Fonzie Denner had the almost pick six when he just like absolutely manhandled Levon Brazil, one of my favorite plays.
Nate Solder got a touchdown in that game too.
Yes, he did. He sure as hell did.
Yeah. But no. And then but honestly, if I look at every division now, I don't like to predict like the winners and stuff like that. And I know Cleveland's Cleveland, but I still feel like the AFC North is the biggest. Like, this could either be a really good division or this could just be a really bad division. Because like Pittsburgh, well, look, they have one of my favorite wide receivers now. I was upset that Michael Pittman Jr. went there. Baltimore, there's a very good chance Lamar Jackson's playing in South Beach in 2 years because he said he wants to go home, and no one really knows what's going on there. Cincinnati is in a massive year where I really do think if the Bengals do not succeed this year and make the playoffs, that's going to be a complete just overhaul. And I don't know if anyone's going to be traded, but those alarm bells are going to get louder. And you kind of got Cleveland just kind of chilling to the side. Like, I still think Cleveland's probably going to be fourth just because of circumstance, but I don't think they're going to be this like.
Cleveland has absolutely nothing going on, man.
I think they could be a fun bad, like where
it's can they? Like, who's fun on that team on their offense? Because obviously Myles Garrett's going to be fun, and I think
Judkins,
Quinton Judkins, I guess so, huh?
And Harold Fannin.
Oh shit, you're so right. I fucking love Harold Fannin. But that's it, huh? Who are the receivers? Who do they got? Who they got? That's the thing.
Like when I say like they have some players where it's like, like, hey, kind of cool, but I don't think they're going to be this like, like they're going to lose. I could see them being that like unlucky team where it's like 5-12, but then they lose a bunch of games, like how they lost to Buffalo. It's like 23-21 and like stuff like that. Like where it's like you're in it, but you're not really there. Like that's what I think with Cleveland, but I really do think the biggest question marks still lay with the Cincinnati Bengals, just because it's like they kind of hang on to 2021 like the kid who peaked in high school. It's like I won 4 state championships, sir. You graduated 12 years ago.
I love that.
Yeah, I do. I will say this. I know we brought up Jalen Phillips earlier, but him, Devin Lloyd with Derek Brown. That Carolina front seven could be a lot of fun to watch.
I agree. And, I like me some Carolina. I think they're frisky. I always think they're frisky. I'm so curious to see how that front seven looks, because their biggest issue last year is they just didn't have a pass rush. That was their biggest issue in the playoffs against the Rams. I was just like, they just can't get home.
And they still almost won that game.
Yeah, I know. Football's crazy, man.
It really is. And like even I look at some teams now too, like even the like that division as a whole, honestly, that's another one where I'm like, you can make I think you can make a case for, I would say, Carolina to repeat as division winner. Tampa's just I don't know about Tampa's tough, you know. Like I think people are starting to realize like why New York Jets fans hated Todd Bowles. I think
Yeah.
that's starting to come out where it's like, oh, so this is why he got fired from the Jets. Which I don't know if you remember the game, but I'm pretty sure his last game coaches the Jets was against the Patriots, and I remember it was like 60 minutes of Ian Eagle being like, well, he's probably going to be fired, and I'm like, we're in the second quarter, like what are we doing? Like I know, like I think it was one of those like Patriots weren't playing anyone, but it's just like, yeah, Todd Bowles is getting fired as soon as the plane touches down. But one other Pats question I had for you there. So how does Tommy DeVito quarterback 2 sound to you?
I'm not. I just I
I
don't
think
love
they
it.
bring in a vet or they draft some random kid.
Yeah, they oh boy. Oh boy. I don't think they're bringing a vet, but I think they're just going to use a draft pick. Man, I almost wonder if it'll be like earlier than people think. They're like, "Oh, well, it's fine. You just draft a quarterback in the 6th." And I'm like, "Yeah, but like
I
what if
could
they
see
draft a
being,
quarterback in the 4th?"
yeah.
Like,
It's like first
that's
pick of
not
day.
that crazy.
It's like first pick of day 3, and it's like quarterback, and you're going to get the people online. Oh, Drake May. It's like no, they just want
No,
someone to have there.
they
Like
just need a backup quarterback. Yeah, I don't know. I know people like Tommy DeVito and I like his like story. Like I like that, but as far as like the actual football, I'm not big on it. Like I don't think he's that good a player. And yeah,
I mean,
I just don't
Josh
see it.
Dobbs. Josh Dobbs led you to probably my favorite tweet from you the entire season, where you were like, when Drake got pulled against the Jets, and he threw a 23-yard tight end screen to Hunter Henry, and you were just like 23-yard screen, yeah, fully organization.
Yeah, like come on, that was a tight end screen. That's just and it was just to get him the incentive. I love that, but I'm like, wow, the Jets really just like allowed that. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know.
I think they realize with Dobbs, it's just like, hey, you know what? Like the same thing with Douglas, where it's like, hey, go get work elsewhere. You're like, you obviously you know what you are here, but like, hey,
yeah, I think they were just trying to save $3.5 million, and they were
yeah,
like, hey, we could get us a quarterback who's probably as good in the draft at this point. At this point, anyway, I think Josh Dobbs is a fine player, but at this point, a 4th-round pick is probably going to give you like equivalent play. So like, maybe explore that option. But I know people are going to be upset because for whatever reason, people still think 4th-round picks are like premium, right? So there's the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd-round picks. Everyone's like, oh yeah, those are like big picks. But there's like a section of football fans in general who are like, oh yeah, a 4th-rounder, you can't just like cut a 4th-rounder like out of camp or something. I'm like, yeah, you can. Why not? Like it's just a 4th-round pick.
yeah.
Like it's just a 4th-round pick, but people still like to count them as like premium picks. Like people are like,
Jalen
oh,
Polk
maybe a
was a
5th or a
second-round
6th.
pick that they traded for nothing last year.
Yeah, the thing I don't really understand with the whole 4th-round pick thing is like people always in their hypothetical trades they like include it. They're like, oh yeah, and you switch, you trade them a 4th-rounder and this mediocre player, and I'm like, why would they want that? Oh well, they want the pick, and I'm like, it's a 4th-round pick. No, they don't. Like, like you can just get those. Like, what are we on about?
Like, and the drafts can be fun this year, but I keep hitting in this dilemma with the draft just because. Not because of the timing of the draft, but because there's a movie that's coming out, I think, the same weekend as the draft, where I'm like, where do I find the time to watch it? It's the Michael documentary, the biography.
Oh,
Yeah, the Michael Jackson one, which just looks amazing in my opinion. But when I look at this draft for the Pats overall, like I've been seeing so many people for 31 being like, oh, they have to draft a tackle. They have to draft a tackle. Morgan Moses is getting old. I think they'll be fine if they go with another position at 31. If they go like, because right now, if I look at the draft, my top 3 priorities, I would say linebacker, tight end, and like we were talking about, I'd say probably a safety, because I know everyone's gonna say, "Oh, they got Kevin Byard. It's a 1-year deal."
mm-hmm.
So I do think those are probably the 3 biggest priorities this year. And you also hope that Craig Woodson now wearing number 4, which I don't know. I think I liked it at first, but you kind of changed me on that.
That's not a good DB number. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
31 was way better, and I get it. I get why. Obviously, you want to defer to Byard on that, but man, that's not a great number, man.
Yeah, but like And the thing I say with tight end too that I love is the simple fact that this year is a great class for the position. I think you have guys all over the board.
I thought they should have drafted a guy 2 years ago. And that was a pretty good class for it as well. That was the year with was that 2 years ago? Or was it 3 years ago? The year with Luke Musgrave and Tucker Kraft went that year. There were some day 2 and 3 guys that were like, that guy's probably gonna be pretty good. And then the guy ended up being pretty good, and you're like, knew it.
I think it was a couple years ago because I remember 2013 had Sam Laporta. It had, I think there was a couple other ones in there. But he's the first one that comes to mind. But that's even textbook proof as well. Like, I love all the people now with the draft where they're like, why wasn't Travis Kelce your first round pick? And I want to be like, you don't base your draft picks on where you go, on like what you did in the NFL. Like, that's why redrafts are some of the dumbest stuff in my opinion.
Agree.
Yeah, where it's like, oh, well, Puka Nacua would have been a first, which, look, him and his biting can see another day. But
that guy.
I love how everyone's now talking. It's like JSN got his bag. Now it's Puka's turn, and Puka's out here saying some awful stuff and saying some and biting people for no reason. But just going back to the redraft thing, though, it's just like because of the time, no one knew Puka Nacua was going to be Puka Nacua. Like with Jackson Smith and Jigba, you knew he was going to be what he's turned out to be.
Yep, he's been everything. I mean, gosh, that was a guy I was like, yeah, him. I liked him and Jordan Addison in that draft. I really liked Jordan Addison, but he's just been
nutcase. You got a trespass from a casino. Like, go home, buddy. Yeah. But no, like even with this year's draft too, like how I brought up Jordan Tyson, Malachi Lemon, I still have to do some work on some of the players at the wide receiver position. But I really do think that there's one player this year who's probably going to be the best offensive player, and that still is Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame. Like the best, like just overall, like when you look back at this draft, it's like who was the best like pick. Yeah. I still think he is like the highest ceiling, and I know everyone's saying Kansas City, but like I think if you put him in that New Orleans offense with Kellen Moore, I really think that could be a home run just pairing.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that, right? Because you already got Olave kind of stretch the field. Juwan Johnson's a downfield kind of player as well. Give him a legitimate running game. I could see that. I'd like that. I think Alvin Kamara, I mean, as much as he's been one of my favorite players for a long time, but give him a back who can like really run with him and let him become that space guy who's really out here to catch some passes kind of guy.
They're building kind of a nice offensive line in New Orleans as well. Like they've got Kelvin Banks, Ad Fuaga, Eric McCoy's their center. Like they've got some guys. Like they obviously lost Ryan Ramczyk, who wasn't all pro, but that's injuries. But they're a team where I'm like, if they put it all together, it could be something. I'm not ready to say that it will be, but I think they're one of those teams where it's kind of like, hey, like kind of keep your guard up for the Saints in 2026.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler Shuck showed that he can play a little bit, which was not great for a take I had last year at the draft, but we move.
Him playing as good as he did though was better because now it puts the Saints in a great position to where this year it's not, oh, we need a quarterback. Tyler Shuck was terrible. Yeah. It's, hey, if Tyler Shuck is a bad 2026, it's like, hey, we can just forego the pick, get a quarterback next year.
Yeah.
So they're in a win-win situation where it's either Tyler Shuck works out as a second rounder or you just rinse and repeat next year.
With a stronger roster. Absolutely.
Yeah. But just going back to pick 31 though, like I don't think they move up. I think people are going to anticipate a move up. I don't see it. I don't think there's a player out there really that's worth it unless there's someone who drops that we don't have on our draft boards because right now with the mock drafts everyone thinks, oh, they know everything. No, the teams know everything. And I think we're going to start to hear more after the owner meetings that are next week, which are always fun. That's something as like a football nerd where I'm like, they're going to be in a stuffy Arizona hotel where it's going to be like 40, I think 106 Fahrenheit. And just overall that and learning about, what rules they want to change and everything else, which I will still stand on this. The fact that they want to do the whole, do playoff games based on just ranking like wins instead of winning your division. I don't agree with that at all. I think, hey, you want to host a playoff game, win your damn division.
Agree.
Yeah, that's just it's just one of those things where everyone's like, oh well, this team's terrible. Like, why are they hosting a playoff game? And like, this team has to go on the road. I'm just like, that's just how the cookie's made.
Right. Like, that's fine.
Yeah. And also to 18 games, I do think is going to come. It's just a matter of probably next year because so two things. One, the Super Bowl for 2029 apparently is going to be going back to Vegas, but both the Super Bowl after next year and 2029 don't have dates yet. So
I did see that, and so there's speculation like, ooh, could we be keeping it open?
Mike Florio was really banging that drum.
Oh, what did it come from Florio? I was curious. I was like, who started that? Because from there, I know picked up a ton of traction. So I was like, all right, who had it? It was Florio, of course.
Yeah. Before we wrap up, two things. One, we found out today that, hey, the Seattle Seahawks are going to be kicking things off on Wednesday night, September the 9th. And then so here's how this week goes. Wednesday night, you're going to have Seattle playing. Thursday, you're going to have LA and San Francisco in Australia, which is at like a 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. that time, which like, I don't know look, I know it's 8 o'clock here. They're doing it to get the American viewer in, but I'm like, that's a game where I'm like, you have to like, I'm like, cool. I might half watch that game, but I'll like have it on, but I may not pay full attention to it. And then Sunday you get a full slate. And so it's like I said earlier, I do not want the Patriots playing in that week 1 game at Seattle. I just don't want them making that trip at that moment. I'd rather them do it.
I don't think they will.
I don't think so either.
I think they kind of learned their lesson the NFL has with regards to putting the Super Bowl rematch in week 1. Because it's a game where both teams are going to be kind of rusty as they kind of like, all right, it's the first game of the season and the tackling is not going to be great. Everyone's just kind of, getting their feet, back wet.
Yep.
And it's a game that, people are going to watch anyway, because it is the first game of the year. Like, that is already going to have eyeballs on it. Like, people are going to be invested in that no matter what. So why waste, the Super Bowl rematch when you can put it on like, week 13 or something, like, something late where it's like, all right, the season's kind of going on. And you're like, oh, but that's our next tent pole. Like, that's our next big event. We get the Super Bowl rematch. So like, I don't think it'll be in week 1. I don't, that doesn't feel like something that makes sense to do anymore.
No, the two teams I look at, I think they could put in that spot is I think honestly the Chicago Bears might be one of the teams because I know they're on that list, and it won't be an NFC West team because they're not going to put the Arizona Cardinals on that game. Jesus Christ, it's literally that division is you have 3 teams that are up here that could go to the Super Bowl, and then you have the Cardinals.
Yep.
I think Chicago could be a team. I think Kansas City could be one, and then there's Dallas just because it's Dallas.
Yeah, feels like it feels like Dallas to me. I feel like that's probably going to get a lock, simply because I'm curious if they want to take the chance on Mahomes missing that first week.
That I think could be like Sunday Night Football around like week 6 or 7.
Yes, so where it's like he's finally getting his legs back under him. Might even be like, oh, he just got back or something. You know what I mean? Like that. Yep. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know that they'd take the risk. Or I don't know that it makes sense for them to take the risk of like, maybe Patrick will or won't play. It's like, it's not really worth all that. So I think Dallas, and plus they love putting Dallas in prime time. The eyeballs are going to be there anyway. But Dallas is a huge fan base, so like, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
The only one that was rumored that I would not be looking forward to is that Thanksgiving Eve game. Nothing's announced, but I think there was a Schefter reported it, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, where it was like, hey, the NFL is tinkering with the idea of playing that Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. Where,
really?
Yeah, I would rather see them because I just think I don't like it just because I'm like, hey, if you want to do it, great, but how do you do it safely? Like, how do you do it with player safety in mind? Because you're not going to have teams go from Sunday to Wednesday. That's just not safe at all. Like giving them 2 days between games and then travel and logistics and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's just, and also too, I do think that waters down the Sunday slate to where it's just, hey, you have 3 games on Sunday, you have a game on Friday, you have a game on Monday, and then you have a handful on Sunday. It doesn't do anything, doesn't move any needles. But I'm also excited for when the schedule does come out in about 6 weeks, or like I assume like 5-6 weeks, about a week or 2 after the draft. And the Patriots have like a 1 o'clock on that Sunday, which I'd rather see them do instead of being like, oh, they're the 4:25 game, or oh, they're Sunday Night Football in week 1. I'm like, hey, just put them at 1 o'clock and just let them do their thing, and then they can eventually get their primetime fix, because we all know they're going to, and McGarvin's going to be a grumpy man about
it. So true. So true. They're probably going to be in primetime quite a bit, which is fine. That's kind of what it happens when you're a good team, and the Patriots are just going to end up being a good team. So I'll be cool with that. But really, NFL schedule makers, please, 4:25 me, please. That is like the perfect time. Like 4:25 me. I beg.
So I haven't said this too much publicly, but obviously you know about it, that I'm like really planning on coming back down for a game this year. I would love for that to be the game. 4:25, so like you can wake up, have breakfast, head to the stadium to tailgate around like noon. 1 o'clock slate, you're in there chilling. 4 o'clock, watch the game. 7 o'clock, go back. Just enjoy the rest
sounds
of the
like
night.
A perfect day to me.
Yeah, and I honestly, if I'm looking at opponents, I just want it to be like a minute. Like I would love to see like Minnesota or Green Bay, because I would love to see that Christian Gonzalez, Justin Jefferson matchup in person.
Yeah. That'd be good, huh?
Drake May versus Kyler Murray.
Well, that's less exciting, but yeah. maybe Kyler's going to end up being like more exciting now that he's not a Cardinal, because golly,
you're going to have him scrambling 20 yards in the back of the play, and you're going to have Justin Jefferson 30 yards open downfield. Kyler misses him.
Kyler's back there vibing.
Yeah. As long as they play it on a Call of Duty double XP weekend, because fun fact, when those happen, Kyler does not play well when Call of Duty has double XP. Although
that's so funny. Is that an actual stat? That's so funny. Oh God.
The other thing I was going to say too, with just the scheduling and all, I can definitely see this game happening, but Patriots at Buffalo week 2 Sunday Night Football to open that new stadium. Because imagine us being the first win in that new stadium. That would feel great.
That'd be pretty exciting.
Yeah. I don't know how to feel about them this year yet. I really don't. I think it's the same old. I think they go as far as Josh will take them.
Absolutely. That's been the case for the last 3 years. Wait, what year is it? Oh my God, no, it's more than that. Because Josh Allen got good in 2020.
2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. This will be season 7 of that.
Oh God. When did we get so old? 2020 was 6 years ago. Holy smokes.
6 years ago at this time, we were trapped inside our houses with nowhere to go and nowhere to hide. But the one thing that kept me going was NFL should be fine.
There were no sports on TV. What a time.
I remember people kept asking me, they were like, how are you getting by? There's no sports. I'm like, I literally just beefed up my video game play. Like I bought MLB The Show, as I've been watching baseball this entire time, because same thing too. It's the first baseball game of the year, so I'm watching baseball. It's the goddamn Yankees. But yeah, that's just the thing. Like, to think of how far we've come in time watching Roger Goodell in his basement doing draft picks, and that really saved all our sanity.
That was a great draft too. What a great experience watching that draft.
Oh yeah,
because he was just so vibey, and I was like, all right, bro, like he's getting loose. You see him hitting the sauce a little bit by the end of it. I was like, all right, y'all need to put Roger to bed. It's too much.
I would want to put the show on to bed, but it would be remiss with me without saying, for McGarvin, for people out there, what's going on this weekend? I heard some football's coming back.
Oh yeah, the UFL is back this Friday, 8 p.m. You get your Birmingham Stallions, your 3-time champion Birmingham Stallions. They're going to go up against Louisville, the new Louisville Kings. They're the one of the 2 new teams added to the league this year. AJ McCarron is now the coach of the 3-time Super Bowl, the 3-time UFL champion Birmingham Stallions. So it's a little bit of a change. Change in head coaches. Skip Holtz was there for the last 4 years. He won 3 championships, obviously, because he's the guy. So a bit of a change there. Really looking forward to it. I'm curious to see how some of the new rules, how those go, because they've added some new rules this year, and not super thrilled about one of them in particular. You're not allowed to punt after you've crossed the 50-yard line. So like
that's your 13th reason.
That is my 13th reason. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's such a fucking dumb rule. Because once you cross the 50-yard line, if things just get out of hand in terms of like, hey, you get two holding calls back to back, you're all of a sudden you're now looking at like 4th and 38. Like, I'm just gotta go for it because I can't fucking punt the football. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But I digress. UFL football is back this weekend, baby.
Yeah, and I'm looking for the one thing I'm looking forward to is person I know just through the CFL coverage, but defensive end Derek Parrish, I believe, is now playing for the DC Defenders, so I'll be watching out for him.
Nice.
Product of the University of Houston, spent some time up here in Toronto, got to interview him last year, and now he got released, but then now he's making it down in DC, so all the best for him, because he's also one of the few football players who actually follows me on the internet. But hey, we're putting this to bed. You know, you and I, we got our rust off too. Our week 1 swagger's coming back. We'll be back probably sometime. For the people out there, the recording schedule is probably going to be really sporadic and random until probably close to the draft time. And then we'll really like kind of lock in where I was promised by Sophie a draft show. She did promise me a draft show. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. For those of you wonder, like we would have loved to have had her back today, but her voice sounds very raspy and you'd think she'd be smoking a pack of Marlboro Red. So we wanted to give her the night off. But for McGarvin, I'm Griff. Guys, enjoy the UFL this weekend. Enjoy all the sports that are on. March Madness, MLB, playoff pushes in basketball, hockey, draft prep if you're a psycho like that. Keep it locked on YWC Football Talk whenever we're back. 423 of these bad boys in the bag. Peace.
Bye.